Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh in Studio West. Congressman Zach Nunn of Iowa joins me. He is the vice chair of the Financial Services Committee, who is focused on cybersecurity. And I must tell you, Congressman Nunn, since the fires out here, I've been getting all sorts of bizarre email. The criminals are trying to get to people who are not very sophisticated. What are you up to on the financial services to protect people? Because, boy, they're out in force.
Yeah, Hugh, you're absolutely right. The exploitation goes across the ways here. In fact, it starts all the way up with Governor Newsom putting people on deck to support the suppression of the forest fires by donating to his Act Blue account, so he has the opportunity to skim 4% off the top and collect people's information. So it's not just the guys overseas who are a threat right now. We've got our own elected officials. You know, Hugh, one of the things that our heart goes out to all of the families, thousands of them, who have lost homes, of the dozens of folks tragically who have lost their lives. I know we'll find more who also have died in these fires. We need to make sure that we're standing with the families and providing the best possible integrity for them to get the resources they need, whether they're doing a GoFundMe page, whether people are trying to Venmo, and making sure that they're not falling victim to catfish and hoax efforts out there. They're going to try and, pillage them a second time. So on the House Financial Services Committee, we have moved forward with a number of bills, mine included, that stops catfishing, that works aggressively after these advanced persistent threat actors, particularly what we're seeing out of the Volt series coming out of China. This is a series of cyber threat actors perpetrated by the Chinese government, particularly their Ministry of State Security. And then even just criminal hackers, particularly cartels and other elements operating in the area that are trying to take advantage in a time of national crisis to really hold these folks accountable.
Now, Congressman Nunn, we have a couple of evacuees staying with us, and they're wonderful, sophisticated people. They're senior citizens. They are very smart, and so they're alert to catfishing. But a lot of my audience may not even know what that means. You want to explain, especially for the benefit of seniors, what they should be watching for?
Yeah, two things we want to immediately look at. The first is catfishing, and this is where someone spoofs you in a traditional spearfish, but they're basically just throwing a lot of information out there to try and get you to bite or share your information with them. It could be something benign like, do you need assistance, or I've got extra money that I'd like to share with you. If you just send me your bank account information, I'll get it deposited. Those are obviously early red warning flags. We also have something far more heinous. It's called pig butchering. This is a new technique being used by both nation states and individuals where they try and develop a relationship with the individual over time. So it could be in the form of a romance or in the form of, hey, I'm here as part of your insurance agency. I'm working on behalf of the insurance company to help get you your settlement. Please start sharing your policy information with me. And then they're filing that policy claim on your behalf and collecting that money that should be going to the victims of these tragic events, and they're taking it for themselves. They end up as a man-in-the-middle attack, if you will. So a lot of sophisticated plans out there. The biggest thing is that you always trust but verify and check in. And if you're ever in concern, check in with your bank, check in with a loved one, and get a second set of eyes on this.
You know, the pig butchering, I think, is the big problem in Southern California right now because it's raining con men. It's raining con men out here because they know everyone's got insurance claims and they're eager to say, here I am, I'm from your insurance company. How does financial services fight this? What kind of legislation can you pass to fight this?
Yeah, Hugh, very good question here. So we've already started working on a number. I led a pig butchering bill specifically to go after this. It empowers our local law enforcement to be able to use resources that right now are really only granted to our federal agencies, particularly the primary agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And this helps us to train our frontline law enforcement, our sheriffs, and also make sure that we've got, public prosecutors who can go after these individuals at the local level. A lot of these are hard. When you take it all the way back to China, that is clearly a job for the FBI. But when you've got a cartel who's operating on the ground in the area, we want to make sure that our county officials, county sheriffs, local law enforcement also have these tools so they can convict, arrest, and detain these individuals on site. And you're absolutely right. A lot of these folks are jumping across the border, so there's a real threat that cartels are effectively using this as a money laundering source for operations they already have in the area.
Now, if I can switch up on you, Congressman Nunn. Admiral Montgomery, retired United States Navy, was on this week to review the cyber threats to our infrastructure. Does that cross over into your subcommittee's work?
It does. Just this week, we called a classified meeting with the members of Treasury, the law enforcement intelligence agencies, as well as CISA, the nexus for keeping government entities safe. There's a series of advanced persistent threat cyber attacks that have specifically targeted a top 10 number of telcos. This is called a Volt series, or this is a series of attacks coming primarily from the cyber militia and the Chinese Ministry of State Security, as well as ones that have targeted individuals. We've seen in the past, during the election, they targeted everyone from Kamala Harris, J.D. Vance, even President Trump's phone himself. But now they're aggressively targeting U.S. citizens, and they use that as a cacophony of information that they then can scale down. Now, in the old school intel world, you didn't just have to have classified information. You could just scour open source or publicly available information, and if you get enough Americans, eventually you're going to find a needle in a haystack of somebody who's pretty darn important. You take their information and you use it against them. So this is the first series. Tragically, just this last month, we saw that the Treasury itself was targeted. They had a very specific number of individuals that it looked like they targeted within Treasury. And while it didn't get on the classified systems, certainly the Chinese penetration of Treasury, who's in charge of everything from sanctions to OFAC, are all very concerning. My equal concern here, it all falls under financial services. We've got to find a great way to be able to punch back at Beijing. And I've asked specifically, I want clear red lines and I want clear threat actors that we can start sanctioning and holding them accountable.
Last question, Congressman Nunn. We've got about a minute left. There are so many people who are targeted by fraudsters in this disaster zone. What is your message to people who get text messages that say, hey, I'm with your mutual fund company, I'm with your insurance company? How do you verify without, don't respond to the text messages, what I say. No one normally does that. What do you say?
One, don't respond to the text message. Don't click on the hyperlink. Don't call the phone number that's in there. If it's from your financial institution, your insurance, just the fire assessment guy, go to their actual verified website. You'll see that secure in the URL bar at the top, and contact them directly. They should know your policy number. Don't require them to verify it with you. As you go forward into this too, if you do feel concerned, if you feel like you're being exploited, or maybe you've already been taken advantage of, you need to contact law enforcement immediately. One, you're going to help other people from becoming victims of this, and the sooner we get this information in, the easier it is to shut down, or in some cases even reclaim those funds. And I would also say, when you're looking at things, particularly costs, go through your credit card company. Don't do check, don't do Venmo, don't do cash. At least with a credit card company, you have an apparatus on your side to help protect you and reclaim those funds for you so you don't get stuck in this impossible situation.
Don't click on the hyperlink. Don't call the phone number. Go to the website of the provider, whether it's an insurance company or a bank. Zach Nunn, that's probably the most important segment of the week. Thank you so much, Congressman Zach Nunn from Iowa, from the Financial Services Subcommittee, Vice Chair on Security and Cybersecurity. He knows what's going on. It's not good. It's not easy. Stay tuned, America. I'm coming right back on the Hugh Hewitt Show.